welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll be discussing a few SANC circulars that have been released over the past couple months, and I'll be discussing how these affect you as a nursing student, registered nurse, and how they also affect the academic institutions you might be in or your workplace. So first off, what are SANC circulars? So SANC circulars are communications that the South African Nursing Council publishes to update registered nursing students, academic institutions, and also health establishments on the different rules and regulations and sort of updates that they have regarding how they're managing us as nursing professionals. These circulars typically cover topics such as regulatory updates, registration and licensing information, examination schedules and results, educational standards, and professional practice. It's important for you to keep track of these circulars, but in this video, I'll be covering all the 2024 circulars. And if there's any other SANC news that you've heard that you'd like me to cover, you can definitely comment down below and I can do a bit of research on those SANC news. But in this video, we'll just be focusing on the 10 SANC circulars of 2024. Please be aware as I'm going through these circulars for you to be aware of the date when it was published, because obviously that will affect the timeline of when these things came into issue. Circular 1 outlines the issuing of duplicate or replacement registration certificates. So this circular outlines the different requirements that you have to fulfill before the South African Nursing Council can issue with your duplicate registration certificate. And these requirements include: you need to have a proof of identity, you need to have an affidavit to confirm that your certificate of registration has been lost or destroyed, and you also need to pay the prescribed fee determined by the circular. The circular also highlights that once you've been issued with a duplicate registration certificate, it will only be on a once-off basis, and if you require it for a second or third time and whatnot, they will only be able to give you a confirmation letter that you are registered with the South African Nursing Council. You must also be aware that if you're going to be requesting for a duplicate, you also have to cover the cost of it being delivered to you. If you didn't know, it was a new rule that I think was started in 2020, where all graduating nursing professionals would have to write an entrance exam for them to be registered with the South African Nursing Council. So the first cohort of the higher certificate of nursing students that wrote the examination was in May 2021. Then the first cohort for the diploma in nursing and the Bachelor of Nursing, the R174, they had their first examination in May 2023. So the South African Nursing Council had a meeting on the 25th to the 26th of January to deliberate on the progress and challenges that they found regarding starting of these entrance exams. And as a result, through that deliberation, they found that they needed some time to be able to update and improve on the process of writing the entrance exams. So as a result, if you're a current nursing student and you're going to be registered in the year of 2025, you will not be writing the entrance exam. However, for foreign students, meaning students that got their nursing qualification outside of South Africa, they will still have to write an entrance exam for them to qualify or for them to register with the South African Nursing Council. I don't know how long it's going to be suspended for. So as long as it's suspended, it's great for a lot of nursing students, because I know a lot of them had challenges of they would write the exam, but they would get their results like months later. And obviously that hindered your starting time for your job and that sort of thing. So technically this is good news, but I'm pretty sure they're going to bring back the entrance exam, because I know in the US they have the NCLEX and for them it works. So I'm sure SANC is trying to do something similar, and obviously they have to improve it in a South African context. At the same meeting that the South African Nursing Council had in January, they also discussed about professional nurses performing medical male circumcision. And there were a few rules that they put in to regulate who is performing these male medical circumcisions. And these are the rules that they put into place. So only professional nurses are allowed to conduct MMC. They have to be trained, monitored, assessed, and deemed competent before practicing. They have to have had the opportunity to observe at least 10 cases being confirmed, and obviously the handling of the pieces that are removed. It has to be in contact with the Human Tissue Act. There's also going to be a system on how to monitor who is doing these MMCs, where is it being done, what is the frequency in which area. The same way that the government keeps track of the births, TOPs, and that sort of thing, it will be the same process that they'll be doing with medical male circumcisions. And also, they reserve the right to audit the departmental records, and any nurse practitioner who fails to comply with this directive, they will be liable for practicing beyond their scope of practice. And as a result, they can actually go for a hearing and their license can be taken away if you have not followed these rules. So please make sure that if you're performing medical male circumcision, or if you want to practice or perform medical male circumcision, that you're adequately trained, you've at least seen 10 cases, and you have proof of all these competencies that you're practicing. I'm sure there is a layout or some documentation somewhere within the government setup or even the private setup to keep track of this. But if there isn't any, please make sure that whoever trains you get a written and signed confirmation that you've trained, that you've performed, and that you have seen at least 10 cases. The same way that we had to do in midwifery, of you have to observe a couple of births before you give or you before you perform your own deliveries. It's important that you're doing the same to make sure that we're having competent professional nurses that are performing these medical male circumcisions. Circular number 4 is in terms of a Bachelor of Health Sciences in the field of nursing system sciences, which is being offered by university in the Gauteng province since 2023. So this program, it says that it is at NQF level 7 and it is a fully online program. So what SANC said regarding this program, that it is for professional nurses already, because you cannot get an undergraduate program that is fully online. So this program is specifically for current professional nurses that want to improve their qualifications. However, this program is only accredited by the Council of Higher Education and not the South African Nursing Council. So as a result, even though this program is an NQF level 7, because it is fully online, it does not have a practical component to it. As a result, it does not allow you to be registered with the South African Nursing Council to be a practicing nurse. So, however, SANC also said since they do not accredit this program, you cannot use it if you're a diploma holder to be able to enter a postgraduate diploma. Unfortunately, they cannot accredit it because of the non-practical component of it. So as a result, if you're a diploma holder, you need to do an advanced diploma in midwifery before you can enter your postgraduate study. So you cannot use this as the bridging case. If you want to understand more about how diploma holders can specialize, you can look at this video that I did already about the specializations of diploma holders. Or you can also follow me on TikTok. I also covered that in a lot of detail. Circular 6 covered the process that the South African Nursing Council is going through for us to have a pilot program for the continuous professional development points that we need to acquire as professional nurses. So, as most of you, according to your Nursing Act, you're supposed to acquire continuous professional development points. I think it's 15 for registered nurses, 15 or 30, but I'll put the correct one on the screen. And the reason why we need these CPD points is for us to continually improve our skills and our knowledge within the nursing profession, so that we're not using outdated knowledge to practicing current nursing. So as a result, SANC has started a new pilot program where they're going to be implementing this initiative in all 9 provinces, including tertiary, provincial, and regional district hospitals, and also in the private sector, including your life healthcare, Mediclinic, and Netcare. So in the pilot program, which is in the first year of this program being phased out, it will mostly be targeted for unit managers and it is effective from June 2024 until July 2024, which is the full CPD cycle. So as a result, in this first pilot, as registered nurses, you can get involved to get familiar with the whole process of getting CPD points, but it's mostly targeted at unit managers to see how effective it is in practice. SANC did have a 2-year pilot program that they had to try it out, and they saw that it was effective in that pilot program that they had. So now they're bringing it out to the public, and they're asking now the unit managers to start with this pilot program. So eventually, the whole process is that we're going to be given a year as professional nurses to acquire our CPD points, which will then allow us to be able to pay our annual practicing fees and for us to get our annual practicing certificates. So eventually, at some point in the future, if you do not acquire the correct CPD points, unfortunately, you will not be able to register and get your annual practicing certificate. And as a result, that means you will not be able to practice until you get your CPD points. So it's very important for us to be aware of that, where we're going with this. And you need to get comfortable, and you need to get into the system of every single year you have to gather CPD points. Currently, the CPD point training is only based at the different hospitals within the 9 provinces, and no private institution or group has been accredited with SANC to be able to provide these CPT points. So I'm not sure when SANC is going to announce when private institutions will be able to give these trainings so that you can acquire these CPT points. At this point in time, the CPT points will only be acquired within our hospitals and within our departments. I'm pretty sure if you've seen your unit managers or your operational managers, most of them, they'll tell you, oh, there's a training happening within the hospital. It's for this amount of CBT points. Sign up for it and that sort of thing. So it's important for you guys to start signing up for those things, because the quicker you acquire your CBT points, the less pressure for yourself when you come towards the end of the CBD year, when you have to have these CBD points acquired for yourself. So essentially, SANC is requiring us to be doing projects that we get marks for, and these marks will allow you to be able to get your annual practicing license for you to be able to practice every single year. Circular number 7 outlines the annual fees that we have to pay for the year 2025. Please be aware that the deadline for these fees is 31 December of 2024. Please do not pay this in the last minute. You must also be aware that if you are paying from a non-FNB bank, which is what SANC uses, it takes a period of 3 days for it to reflect on SANC's side. So don't do it at the last minute. Give yourself enough time to pay these practicing fees. If you are working with agencies, most agencies have opted into taking out a cut of your pay for them to pay these practicing licenses for yourself. You can also do that, and also just follow up to make sure that it hasn't been paid out. I've also noticed that also other employers such as Netcare have paid the annual practicing fees for their employees, and most employees have opted into that. But please make sure that they are paid on time. This circular also highlighted the restoration fees and also the voluntary removal from the South African Nursing Council register and the whole process that goes with that. Circular number 8 is simple and straightforward. To the employers, please stop employing nurses that are not registered with the South African Nursing Council. And if you are a professional nurse who's not registered with the South African Nursing Council, please stop performing this fraudulent behavior and trying to get yourself employed. Please make sure that you are registered with the South African Nursing Council properly, because this is to protect your patients. Because if you're not registered with the South African Nursing Council, they cannot keep track of what malpractice you're doing and that sort of thing. So please just protect yourself and your employer. And to the employers, how you can check if someone is registered with the South African Nursing Council: get their SANC number, go on the e-register, and their name should pop up on the e-register. If it's not showing up, they're not registered, and the employee needs to get that on track before you can employ them. Circular number 9 is related to circular number 7. Please make sure that you're using the correct references when you're paying your fees, because the South African Nursing Council have different codes for the different fees that you can pay towards them. But in most cases, you must use your 8-digit South African Nursing Council number, and then you add the code and whatever code that you're paying for. I'll put a list here according to the African Nursing Council, but there's also a link down in the description box to this circular so that you can keep track of what codes you need to use. But before you make any payment, please just check on the SANC website that you're having the right code. And then circular number 10, it relates to circular number 7 and circular number 9. So when you pay your annual practicing license fees, there is an annual practicing certificate that SANC is supposed to issue you. Most people get it, but sometimes the certificate gets lost in the mail because it's literally a small receipt that they send to you, and sometimes it does get lost. So right now, SANC is in the process of moving away from sending those certificates or those receipts to nursing professionals, because essentially that's what the e-register is for. The e-register, it shows that you are a current registered professional nurse or an EN or whatnot, whatever rank that you are with the South African Nursing Council, but it also shows if you have paid your annual practicing license fees for the following year. It literally shows up. I'll put mine up to show you an example. As a result, them sending you the certificate is kind of becoming redundant because you can see it on the e-register, and also SANC is trying to modernize the whole process of doing things and being less paperless. So as a result, SANC has put it into motion that they'll eventually stop sending those receipts to registered nurses, professional nurses, enrolled nurses, and whatnot. And eventually, you just have to look on the e-register to show if your money has reflected and if you have paid your fees and that sort of thing. So these are all the circulars that are currently on the SANC website. Obviously, it's up until August 2024. I'll make a video later on in the year just with the rest of the circulars that SANC might release. But if there's any other news regarding SANC or news that you've heard within the nursing profession that you'd like more clarity, more information on, you can definitely comment down below and I can do a little bit more research and let you guys know all about it. But if you'd like to read these circulars yourself, you can go down the description and you can find the link to these circulars on the South African Nursing Council. So until next week, Friday, 12 p.m. South African time, have an awesome one. Bye, guys.